It's my life. I'll do what I want.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are going to dive into episode 8 of How to Get Away with Murder. Of course, this is season 1. Very good episode. Probably one of my favorites so far. So, yeah, let's just go straight into it. If you want to know more, stay tuned. Okay. This episode didn't feature any like flashbacks about Sam's actual death. So we kind of got a backstory on Lila and how this entire relationship happened between her and Sam. Found it very interesting. She was friends with Rebecca. Because she was a sorority girl and Rebecca was kind of like this emo kid. They're not two typical people that hung out together, but they did. And while they did a lot of hanging out, they also liked to snort drugs. So, Lila ain't as innocent as she looks. But either of them didn't want their friends to know that they were hanging out with each other. So, whatever. But Lila's very, very comfortable with Rebecca, and they seem to be very good friends. So she informs her that she met this new guy, but she can't tell him who he is. She just calls him Mr. Darcy, but she can't tell him who he is because he's married. She doesn't even mention that he's a teacher. She just mentions that he's married, so he doesn't want, to ruin his marriage or nothing like that. So all of that happens. She says all of this, and then later on we come back to the rest of the story. She's like on the roof, look like she's about to jump off, and she's crying uncontrollably, and Rebecca asks her what's going on. She tells her that she slept with him, and this was the very first time she's ever had sex. So she lost her virginity to Sam, and she still has the boyfriend who Rebecca thought she was going to actually be leaving because he was a Jesus freak. But she was like, no, we're still going to stay together, but, whatever. So then she says that she's also upset because he told her that he wanted to break off the relationship. And she was like, I'm a fool. I should have known it. They never leave their wives. She goes through this whole thing. She was like, I just want to show his wife all of the pictures and everything, all the information, all of the stuff that I got. Because she showed Rebecca pictures of the guy, of the same picture that we've seen in Lila's phone 1,000 times. She shows it to Rebecca. So that was initially after but it seems as if she got the picture. It wasn't like she took the picture and had it. The way that they showed it, she actually like got a notification. She got a text message and she opened it up and it was the picture of him. So I'm not sure how that plays out. I don't know who was sent the picture. Whose phone was it taken with? I don't know. But either way, oh, maybe he was sexting her. Okay, yeah, that catch. Lila got so upset because it was over. She was like, I'm going to go tell his wife. So she makes it all the way to Keaton's office. And of course, Bonnie answers the door. Sorry, it's my phone. Bonnie answers the door and she's like, hey, I need to speak with Miss Keaton. Annalise Keaton. She was like, okay, what do you want? She's like, I need to speak with her. And she's in tears. I need to speak with Annalise. Are you a new client? Do you have a problem? Are you trying to find an attorney? Tell me what's going on. She was like, I just need to speak to her. She's like, okay, let me explain something to you, honey. Let me escort you step back. I'm going to close the door. We're going to talk outside. Let me explain something to you. I don't know what is going on, what you're going through, but you just need to leave it alone. Go on about your day. You'll figure it out. And she ends up telling her, he can't get away with this any longer. So, but at the time, Bonnie had no idea who the girl was. She never said her name or anything, so she just left it as it was. But the day that she actually met her is also the day that Lila died. So she didn't put it together until after the missing photos, missing girl photos showed up. So once those pictures started to surface, she realized, okay, this is the same girl that showed up at my door last night with evidence that she wanted to show to Annalise had to be about Sam. And she said he couldn't get away with it. And then once the report came out she was pregnant, that's when she goes back to Sam and says, hey, I actually did meet Lila that night. But we'll get to that later. Alright, as we know, this is the week before, or I guess leading up to the trial. So the Lila Stangard murder case is about to start. The very last thing that Keaton wanted to make sure that Wes is well aware of is that Lila was pregnant. Keaton told Wes. And he was like, okay, why would you tell me this? And she's like, I've learned my mistake for keeping information from you, so I dare not do that again. So, because she really wants him to trust her, so she did. She told him, and she was like, okay, Lila was pregnant, but please do not tell Rebecca. Please do not tell Rebecca. Please do not tell Rebecca. I mean, literally, he walked out of her office. The very next scene is him standing in the middle of his entire freaking apartment, and he's going, Lila was pregnant. I was like, you just don't listen. So he told Rebecca immediately. Rebecca says she did not know she was pregnant, but from Lila's story, she did. It seems as if she knew. She knew. I definitely believe Rebecca knew. She just didn't say to Wes that she knew. She was like, oh my god, of course I didn't know. And Wes is just, to me, he's just so gullible, because as easy as he wants to go against Keating and trust Rebecca, she is the most untrustworthy person in the entire show. Like, he's so stupid for this. As we know, Rebecca is working with Nate to really get Sam for this whole murder thing. Of course, she never told anybody, so, but she tries to go get a DNA sample out of his home, but he completely stopped it, so she couldn't get it. So she said, okay, maybe there's another way. She's like, can't you look it through his phone? Because there's all types of text messages, you know, sexting messages, everything. She's like, there has to be information on his phone. So Nate takes it upon himself to go and hack everything from his phone, and he puts it on a flash drive. So he takes the flash drive and he gives it to Rebecca. But after she gets done talking to him, she takes the flash drive. She sees Wes. She literally gets out of his car. Wes is walking down the street on his bike. Walking with his bike. So he's staring at her and he sees Nate pull off, and he knows exactly who the guy is. And she's like, so they get back to his apartment and he's like, what is wrong with you? I told you to trust me completely. I was going to handle the entire situation. And you go and meet with her boyfriend? She was like, I didn't even know that was her boyfriend. He's like, yeah. And now she knows that I told you that Lila was pregnant. And really she knew already because of Bonnie or Sam or somebody else. It wasn't even Nate. But of course, they get into a heated argument. He's very upset that she took the information. And now they can easily, he believes that they can easily, the two of them could double cross both of them. With Laurel, she's still sleeping with Frank. She's just a Jezebel, I swear. And Connor didn't go through much in this episode. Asher either. But Michaela was a big story. She, of course, will not sign this prenup, which I'm not mad at her. But her fiance is comes from a very, very wealthy family. And so his mother shows up. She's like, come on, we're going to go out to dinner. You think it looks like it's going to be innocent, but because of the lady that's playing her, I don't know her real name. I've completely forgot it. But the girl that's playing her, oh my god. This is like, you know she ain't about to be nothing but ignorant. So, they go to dinner, and she was like, I'm going to tell you right now. Michaela told her, she was like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not signing it. You can say whatever you want to. I don't care, because I'm not getting with your son because of his money. That's not my ulterior motive. I am in love with him. So you can get over your high horse because I'm going to be with him regardless. So his mother pulls out the prenup like she ain't heard a word the girl just said, lays it on the table, got a pen in her hand. You will sign this. And if you don't, I will make sure that your life is a living hell. And I'm like, is she just looking at her? And then, you know, her mother goes back and she's like, you better sign this, girl. You better sign it. And Michaela's just looking at her. She won't say nothing. And she calls her some type of name. And Michaela walls off to slap her. And of course, his mother got a quick hand. She grabbed her. Like, girl, have you lost all of your marbles? Have every single marble of your brain just dropped from its skeleton area? Did you just lose every marble you own? Honey, no, this is not about to happen. She's like, girl, you done tried the right one now. We'll see if this wedding will go on, because I guarantee you I will make sure I wipe the floor with you. She left Michaela crying at the table, and his mother walked off. She's done with the situation. You don't want to sign it? Okay, I had to do other measures to make sure that it's done. Miss Katie was the entire realm of this episode. Honey, she went through the ringer. Between her husband, between his case, between Rebecca, between the pregnancy. This just was not the week for her. I mean, honestly, baby girl was having all types of issues. So I know for sure, she made Bonnie stay in the room when she questioned him about the pregnancy when she initially found out. And of course he lied and said he didn't know anything about it. Bonnie tried to talk to him about it, but then Keaton walked in the room, so she walked out. It was a little suspicious, but she wanted Bonnie there as a witness for when he would say, yes, I knew she was pregnant, or no, I didn't, because she needed it for her case. So of course it says no. Bonnie wanted to leave. She was like, "You bet not move." So she almost threatened her. So she is not in a happy state with her husband, but she loves her husband. So, and he's telling her no, but she really, I mean, he's been lying this whole time. I think in the back of her mind, even though he said no, I didn't know she was pregnant, she really didn't know. She knew that he knew she was pregnant. Him being with this girl is like consuming her every thought. You know, she had a new case, and she nearly lost it in the courtroom. And she's just, you could tell that her head is not right. She went off on Connor and Bonnie after the case. So I mean, she's losing it. But she also blames herself because she was like, I never should have got with someone's husband. I should have known this would happen from this. I married someone else's husband. I began dating someone else's husband. It wasn't an ex-husband. It wasn't a newly divorced guy. It was a current husband. It was somebody's current husband. So she blames herself a lot, and he was like, no, it's my fault. I'm the one that... Typical man. Typical man. I wasn't happy with him saying all of that. Bonnie got to talk to Sam about the information that he found out. About the information about saying Lila the night she was murdered. So Sam was like, okay, I couldn't tell her. I mean, it's bad enough as it is. Going to tell her now, it would just be redundant and stupid. So, yeah, I lied about it. Yeah, but I knew. Yeah, I did. But can you please not tell her? And so she's like, I'm going to tell her. So he ends up, like, trying to passionately kiss her. And, well, he does end up passionately kissing her. You think that she's not going to tell. But the very next scene, Bonnie is in tears standing in front of Keaton boo-hoo crying. She's like, he told me that he met with her and I knew she was pregnant, and he kissed me, and I'm so sorry. He didn't want me to tell you. And you could clearly tell, you know, as much as Bonnie seems to have feelings for her husband, her loyalty lies deeply with Annalise Keaton. She does not give any care about Sam in any remote. She is not out here trying to save his life. She is down for Annalise Keaton. That is the person that she cares the most about. So the minute that, you know, she found out he told her the truth, she immediately went to her. Immediately went to her and was like, he told me this and that and the other, and he told me not to tell you, but I'm telling you because, you know, she said, but he is not a good man. You cannot trust him. He is not a good man. You just can't trust. She's like, I understand that's just your husband and everything. She was like, but Annalise, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And it is not getting any better. And I'm rooting for Bonnie in this. I'm like, she finally has some clarity. You know, she's doing the right thing. And of course, Annalise is in tears. She gets up and, you know, kind of like walks off from her, and she's crying. And then, you know, she like turns around, looks Bonnie dead in her face, and says, "You're fired." Are you serious? You're fired? She was like, no, please, please stop. I'm like, Bonnie, come on, girl, you can't be like this. Can't be no punk. She fired you. Well, F you and your husband. This is two of y'all going to jail. I can tell, you know, I know everything, but because of Bonnie's loyalty, she'll never, ever, ever go against Annalise. But I thought it was because, you know, she's finally hearing the truth that she already knew, and she's so blinded by love for that man that she completely goes against the best associate that she has. Are you crazy? Yeah. I wasn't happy that she did that. I was not happy at all that she did that. But she fired Bonnie, so Bonnie got her stuff and left. And Keaton goes and orders DNA samples from every man in Lila's life. They literally have to take a DNA because she was pregnant. They want to know who the father was, because if they find out who the father of the baby was, they'll have the motive to murder. That could be the reason why she's dead. So she goes and orders DNA samples from every single man that she's ever come in contact with, including her teachers, and that's what she tells Sam. So we leave off there. But now we really see how the entire storyline fell together, of how all of these people ended up in Keaton's office with Sam dead on the floor. Piece of this real quick. I could see the timeline of the entire thing. Lila got this flash drive, and Wes was upset that she got it. So Lila storms out of his once Connor and Laurel show up to do a study session for their final that was coming up that week. Rebecca takes the flash drive and her coat and she storms out. Wes realizes that the flash drive is gone. He asks Connor, do you have your car? While all of that is happening, Keaton is talking to Bonnie and she fires Bonnie. While the three of them are at Wes's apartment and Bonnie is being fired at Keaton's office, Michaela ends up at Asher's apartment. They were all going to go to the bonfire. So Michaela's the first one there. She's like, hey, where is everybody? He was like, well, you're the first one here. She steals the trophy and runs out of the apartment. He realized she left. He don't know why. But after dancing around the apartment for 2 minutes, he looks over on his shelf and realizes his trophy is missing. West, Connor, and Laurel go out to see Rebecca while Michaela takes the trophy and ends up at Keaton's apartment. Michaela shows up first with the trophy there. Sam is there and Rebecca ends up at the apartment because she gets the file. She gets the whatever information that she had to get off the flash drive. Now she's confronting Sam with that information. I believe that Michaela witnessed the entire thing happen. That's why she's balled up in a corner crying her eyes out. Because somehow the trophy ends up in the middle of the room with all of this running and arguing and fighting. Rebecca kills him. After she kills him, she finally calls Wes like, we got a problem. And then Wes and Connor and Laurel show up at the apartment. And they go through the entire thing of rolling up the body, putting it in the car, making the plan to go to the gas station that's far out of town. And at that point is when they nearly hit Asher with the car. Maybe Bonnie went off and did something, but eventually she calls him. And so the two of them end up at her apartment. They take Sam's body, go off to the middle of the woods, burn it and beat it. Somehow Keaton ends up back home after their fight. She probably leaves, but after the fight she comes back. And that's when she finally calls Bonnie and says, okay, are you with my husband? Because, and she doesn't say why. She just says something is wrong, but I think it's because he's not here right now. I know what happened when I left. Some ain't right. I know I have Bonnie cased on this bad, but because now we know that Michaela stole the thing. So I believe Rebecca is, and we do see that she ends up in the motel. They send her to the motel and she ends up telling Wes, I killed him only because he was going to kill me. Y'all watch what I'm saying. I know it. I know this story too well in order for it not to make sense to me in my head and for it not to play out like that on television. I'll come back next week with episode 9, season 1 of How We Get Away with Murder, the winter season finale. So we'll see everything, how it all falls out. Yeah, we'll see, because I think it's going to be good. If you liked the video, everything that I said, all of the comments and everything else, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I see you guys. Bye.